going on, everybody? Hope you're all having a fantastic day today. Now, ladies and gentlemen, I had a whole video planned out to discuss Call of Duty Next, because I gotta be honest, it was kind of disappointing with how Activision handled it. But sadly, I have to push that video, actually, not even back, I'm deleting it altogether, because as you guys know, the Black Ops 6 beta is going to begin today at 1 p.m. Eastern Time. And of course, for anybody who's interested in seeing my live impressions of the Black Ops 6 beta, tune into my live stream. I'm going to begin an hour early at 12 p.m. Eastern Time. And we're going to try to stream as long as we can, get some gameplay, really dissect Black Ops 6. And we're going to be covering this game all weekend long, so expect a ton of content from Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Well, actually, note, because today is Friday, so Saturday and Sunday, expect some content. Maybe I'll make some more content throughout the week. And there are some other things I want to discuss with XDefiant in the future, but I'm deleting that video altogether. We have to put out a emergency update, ladies and gentlemen, because some new information from Tom Henderson has come out, which has really bummed me out for the future of XDefiant. This is news and information that I would much rather not discuss whatsoever, because I enjoy this game. I love it a ton, but sadly, it must be discussed. As you can see right here from Tom Henderson, exclusive. XDefiant is on borrowed time as player numbers decline rapidly. To start off this article, it says, according to several sources at Ubisoft San Francisco has until the end of Season 3 of XDefiant to improve the game's bleak player numbers. XDefiant was all the buzz when it launched in May 2024. The game exceeded 1 million unique players in its first 2.5 hours, a Ubisoft record, and exceeded over 8 million players in its first week. Executives were thrilled at the title's future, and even reported in the company's latest press release that XDefiant revenue contributed to its Q1 2025 financial success. But now, just 6 weeks from its Q1 financial report, Ubisoft HQ wants player numbers to increase by Season 3, or XDefiant risks losing its much-needed post-launch support. Internally, optimism for the game has shifted primarily due to the game's continuously declining player numbers and lack of player spending. One source told me that the game has been struggling to obtain 20,000 concurrent players across all its platforms, whereas another said they, Ubisoft, would probably be happy with that number, suggesting that it's now much lower. The declining numbers have created tension and anxiety within the team, with sources who spoke to me believing that more layoffs are only a matter of time. Going on here, it's not like Ubisoft San Francisco isn't already feeling the pressure either. Earlier this month, Ubisoft cut 45 jobs at its San Francisco, California, and North Carolina offices, with around 10 actively working on XDefiant, and even more at the studio losing their jobs due to Rocksmith Plus scaling it down. Frustrations within the studio are aimed at the leadership, who have refused to take responsibility for the project's shortcomings, which could have been avoided with a better studio culture. In late March 2024, I reported on the studio's toxic work culture, and despite an internal investigation that concluded last month, I was told that the issue has been swept under the rug, and that its problems were still prevalent. As for XDefiant's future, leadership is betting all their money on Season 3 to turn things around. But with Call of Duty Black Ops 6 set to release between Season 2 and Season 3, those I spoke to are feeling pessimistic about the game's future. One source even went as far as to say, expect more Ubisoft San Fran layoff headlines within 6 months. Now, you guys can go ahead and take this information with, however much you want to go ahead and take it as, because realistically, we can't confirm that this is all true. These are quote-unquote sources that are emailing Tom Henderson, although I will say Tom Henderson is usually on point when it comes to covering articles, and he doesn't, take sources very lightly. He does want a lot of background stuff to prove that these sources are real, but at the end of the day, there still is a massive, possibility that all of this stuff could be false. It could be, people giving him false information, so on and so forth. But I indeed can see this being a realistic possibility here. I'm going to be honest with you guys, and I know all the haters are going to be so excited about this one, trust me, which is so sad, because I've never seen a day and age where people are so excited for games to die and dwindle away. Nobody wants to see anything succeed. Seriously, it's really depressing. And especially, coming for XDefiant as well, they probably chose the wrong community to chase after, because if I'm going to be real, Call of Duty players are the least, what's the word I'm looking for? Versatile players, having variety. COD players don't like to do anything else besides play COD. You know, if I talk to a Battlefield player, a Rainbow Six Siege player, a CSGO player, they probably have like 10, 20 other games that they're talking about. Call of Duty players, although there are a decent amount who are casuals who have a bunch of other, you know, games in their catalog, a lot of them only play Call of Duty. So it just makes sense, you know, at the end of the day, the mass majority of people who went to try XDefiant, they were never going to stay with this game. I guarantee you, even if they have a ton more content, they brought the prestige system in, the netcode is fixed, I am 99.9% positive they would not stick with this game. That is just the sad reality of it. They would all ditch it to go back to COD and keep complaining, right? It's just how the COD community works. They complain about the game, they get an alternative, they try it a little bit, they say, oh, this is cool, and then they leave it. And then the same thing, it repeats every single year. But seriously, I can see this being realistic. As sad as it sounds, I can see this being realistic. I know the haters are going to be celebrating right now, but it's sad, man. I really wanted this game to thrive on, and it's still a chance that it can thrive on. It still is a chance, but like I said, I don't know. I just simply don't believe the community. I gotta be real with you guys. I don't believe the community. When they say that new content comes in, they'll play more. When they say the prestige system is in the game, they'll play more. When it's more everything, when the netcode gets fixed, they'll play more. I just simply don't believe them. I know a lot of you guys will gladly accept these fixes with open arms and play XDefiant even more. But again, like I said, the COD brain rot is pretty typical. I've seen this many times before. I've seen many competitors just, you know, go down the drain because people don't want to support anything that isn't a massive AAA product. It just is what it is. People are trendy. They want to play the next big thing. They don't want to play stuff that is dying down or has a lower player count because they don't see value in playing those games, which is very odd because some of my favorite games are the games that do have the lowest player counts. You know what I'm saying? I played Islands of Nine until that game shut down the servers. I love Insurgency Sandstorm, one of my favorites. I love mill sims like Squad and, you know, Hell Let Loose, I guess, is a little bit more popular, but I love playing Squad. You know, Splitgate, I love playing Splitgate, and that player count dropped tremendously, but it never changed my opinion about the game, right? I enjoy games that are a little bit more, I guess, a lower budget game, but people just don't really want to branch out. They always end up going back, which is my biggest concern, you know, even when it comes down to the skins within this game. Tell me how many people you actually see within this game who are spending real cash on skins. I gotta be honest with you guys. I don't see anyone spending money, and that personally comes down to the art team. I can't deny it, but that's down to the art team. If they really need to make money in this game, they have to put out content that's worth money. All these battle passes, even the leaked battle pass for Season 2, isn't looking too phenomenal. This is, again, this is coming from someone who really enjoys XDefiant. I love this game. I'm going to be supporting it until the day it goes down because that's just how I rock and roll. That's literally how I rock and roll. Anybody who thinks that this information is going to change my, you know, my idea of XDefiant is an absolute loser. And again, all you do is pray for the downfall of games. Just please, get a life. I'm not changing my opinion about it. I enjoy it. I love it. But the reality is, the content that's purchasable is not worth it. Over half the lobbies I join into, all the low-level players, they're not even using Battle Pass content. The Battle Pass is like, what, 10 bucks, maybe a little bit cheaper? They're not even using that content, okay? Nobody wants to put forth money into this free-to-play title because they don't see value in the stuff that they're purchasing. Don't get me wrong, there has been some store bundles that look really clean and they're really cool, but they're too far and in between, right? There's not enough of them to encourage people to cough up money for them. And the ones that are out there that do look semi-decent are still too expensive, like 40 bucks. I don't know who out there in their right mind is going to want to spend 40 bucks for some of these bundles. They're not even animated. They don't have tracers, so on and so forth. It's not worth 40 beans. You know, times have evolved when it comes to cosmetics, and XDefiant isn't evolving with them. They're kind of taking a step back from what cosmetics truthfully are nowadays. All these things combined are, you know, causing Ubisoft to look at this game a bit differently. And it's sad. It's really sad. But I'm going to tell you guys right now, like I said before, I'm not going anywhere. I love XDefiant. I love this development team. And this development team has been putting in work. The lack of content, down to Ubisoft. When it comes to all these other problems, down to Ubisoft. But this development team has literally been putting in 110% every step of the frickin' way. Bugs completely polished off every single time a new update comes out. The game is running nice and smooth again. The weapon balancing, I love pretty much all the weapons across the board. I've been having a blast. The movement balancing to make sure everybody can be happy. Pretty good in my personal opinion. It's working pretty nicely, and it's a nice in-between for skilled players and also for the casual players. I realistically can't think of anything wrong with this game besides the netcode and the hit reg, which is being severely improved within Season 2. The devs have been on point. I'm not going anywhere. like I said, I'm going to literally ride this game into the dirt. And even after the dirt, I'll probably even go ahead and show my love to it even further. Because this is the first time we've actually had a really solid passion project. A team that wants to actually try to bring happiness to people who enjoy arcade shooters. And all they've been greeted with is people dunking on them and crapping on them all year long over problems that they don't even know what they're talking about. Over half the people are saying the netcode has been worked on for 5 years. They're idiots. They don't know what they're talking about. This brand new netcode has been under production for less than a year. You know what I'm saying? Or, oh, this game is so sweaty. This is the sweatiest FPS game I've ever played, and that's going to kill the overall, you know, the gameplay, and nobody's going to want to play it. What? What are you talking about? Literally, before this game dropped, everybody ditched COD for XDefiant when it was in beta form because of people who are sweating too hard. Again, like I said, people will say absolutely anything in the world to put this game down. All because they simply hate it. They won't move on. You know, they won't move on and play anything else. They're going to stick around, but they're only sticking around just to talk crap about the game instead of wanting to see it improve. It is what it is, ladies and gentlemen. That is the current day of gamers that we have to deal with. A bunch of spoiled brats, but you know, it is what it is. But ladies and gentlemen, I'm sorry for such a negative, gloomy video. I had to go ahead and discuss this. I know it's sad news, but luckily for us, you know, we don't really have to stress about this until Season 3. So we can still go ahead and discuss all the positives, all the changes the developers are doing, and we can still enjoy the ride for as long as this ride is going to be here, and I hope it lasts for a decent amount of time. But again, I don't know, because even, like I said earlier, even if the developers improve everything, people weren't coming to XDefiant to play XDefiant. They were coming to it because they were sick of COD. But again, the same people who are sick of COD have a mental illness that refuses to allow them to get away from COD. There are so many good alternatives out there right now. Not even XDefiant. There are many other games out there that are phenomenal, but COD players just can't fathom moving away from the franchise. They can't. They literally cannot do it. It is like, it's a reflex. Like, people who have rabies, I hate talking about this because it's, you know, it's sad. But you know how some people who have rabies, really bad cases, they can't swallow water. And that's usually how it takes them out because, you know, they have the fear of swallowing and they can, like, gag on the water and stuff like that. And, you know, that's what I think of when I think of Call of Duty players. You know what I'm saying? Every time they try to branch out and play something else, they start, you know, getting gag reflexes and they get repulsed and they have, you know, they have to put it away and go back to Call of Duty. It is what it is, man. Even with all the fixes in the world, I don't think people are going to hop back into the experience. As sad as it sounds, they don't respect XDefiant for being XDefiant. But again, I love this game. I respect XDefiant for being XDefiant, and I'll be here covering it as long as I could possibly think of. So, of course, if you guys are interested in that, subscribe, hit that bell. We post daily at 8 in the morning Eastern time. Again, I will be checking out a ton of Black Ops 6 during the beta because, again, I'm curious how Treyarch is handling this game, and it does look kind of interesting right now. So we will be dabbling in it and seeing how it is. And obviously, with the upcoming week, we're going to have a lot more to discuss with XDefiant as well. With, I believe there might be another XD brief that might happen early September. So when that drops, we'll go ahead and discuss. But other than that, ladies and gentlemen, I appreciate you guys for coming through. Check out my live stream. Like I said, I'll be live today at 12 p.m. Eastern time. Link to that down in the description of this video. But as always, I appreciate y'all for coming through, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace out.
Get ready to move. Zone changing location.